one of the highlights for me is actually just kind of knowing the impact that some programs have had on young people. So something I think like the BFI Film Academy, which really sets some young people up in different careers, was a real impact. Plus, we loved working on that because we spend a lot of time with the young people that were involved in that.
So my name is Juvenal Mays. It's pronounced Juvenal Maze. I am an in-house image editor and I do many like creative things. I'm currently transitioning to being a creative director. I'm the kind of person where I have to kind of see it come to light in some sort of way, even if it's just a little bit. It's like, and the only times I would do that would be in like media studies. My media studies teacher at the time, Miss Gold, I remember she was saying, because she really wanted me to like succeed and whatnot. She said, oh yeah, you can have so many skills and great work that you produce and whatnot. And then she explained to me, oh yeah, Eastside, BFI and so on and so forth. And I was like, interesting, okay, yeah, why not? And she told me about like the Arts Award and how that can help you. I always remember telling people, oh yeah, BFI Film Academy, BFI Film Academy. So I had to just look at myself. I was like, well, I know what I'm saying. And I was like, that's why. It's opened my eyes, like it's completely. I didn't really see or think there were other options out there. I didn't even know there was a thing such as like an art director. Like, what's that? So, huh? Oh, you can be an art director. Because coming here, they brought down industry professionals who sat down with us and gave us like insight into like their world and like how it is. So it's like, oh wow, okay. So fast forward, whenever I'm going about telling people, oh yeah, so this has been my journey, I always mention like BFI. Yeah, so the impact, it's had a big one. It's definitely opened like my mind and like my perspective on like, okay, this is the creative industry. It's like, oh, okay, you can really do a lot here. Yeah.
My name is Salom Adunu. I am an award-winning actor, producer, and writer.
I'm Marcus Austin. I'm a director, award-winning producer, and creative director. Yeah. With Eastside, we started off at the BFI Film Academy. So that was like the first venture into like learning a bit more about film. So we were at Brit School, and one of our teachers like told us, oh, there's something going on with BFI. Do you wanna like see if you're interested? And then we applied, and this is how we kind of got to know each other.
And then me and Marcus just did it together. We were like, bro, should we do this? We both going at the same time, and we were like, rah, this is fate.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's sort of how we've been working at Eastside. Well, I think we were, when we started at Eastside, bro, I think we were 17.
Oh my God, yeah, we were
17 when we started.
Yeah,
we were youths, didn't know nothing. But it was a good experience.
Yeah, I'll be honest, like, I didn't know what BFI was when we first joined. We just thought it was just like another film club to go into and join. But then we realized it's actually a part of a big establishment that make award-winning films. And we were like, oh, okay.
This is what it is.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I think it was very new to us. Like, from our areas, it's not really the norm to just be doing up film applications here and there. So when we got the opportunity and we walked in, it was definitely very new to us. It was a very new environment. But we still very much stayed our authentic selves. You know what I'm saying? Like, we could have easily been doing up code switching, but the environment here at BFI and at Eastside felt like we could just be ourselves and still learn and still grow in the industry. So it was really good.
Yeah, we were literally ourselves. Like when we first came, like we knew a bit about film, but we just kind of came as ourselves. Like Sel was still wearing a do-rag, I was wearing a do-rag. Like we would come in as literally as ourselves. And we were just creating stuff. Like at the start, we were just like testing a few things with BFI and see like what they are actually about long term. And see where we can kind of fit the puzzle of the whole grand scheme of like doing a film academy. So yeah.
There's been a lot of new projects since I started. That's for a whole host of reasons. We set out a new strategy for the organisation, so we wanted to have a really clear direction where we were going. And opportunities arise here and there. You take them. Our first national project, so this was in 2019, where we set out to really try and capture the voices of the nation's young people. This was around our 25th anniversary and a project to celebrate that. And it was the first time the Arts Council had invested in a big national project with Eastside. So I was very thrilled that we achieved that partnership and that investment. We called it I Know, I Wish, I Will. That was the name of the project. And the idea was that we would ask young people what they knew about themselves and the world around them. So that was the I Know part. The second part was the I Wish. What did they wish for themselves and for their communities? And the third part, I Will. What would they do to make their wishes come true and to make the changes they wanted to see in their society? And they would each respond to that I Know, I Wish, I Will provocation by writing their own spoken word poetry that they would then perform.
So my name is Aisha. I currently work at the Sutton Trust as a programs assistant. I worked at Eastside as an intern from August 2019 to April of 2020.
Yep, so my name is Neera. I'm currently a business analyst and I worked at Eastside from also the same dates, August 2019 to April 2020. It was pretty amazing working on the I Know, I Wish, I Will program. I remember this was in celebration of Eastside's 25th anniversary, so it's fun to be talking about that on the 30th anniversary. And that was pretty exciting as well to see. At the end, we got entries from so many different places from like around the world. There were ones not even in the UK submitted. And it was pretty amazing to see the outcome of that and, you know, read all the kids' different like spoken word poems and watch that as well. So it was like an amazing project to be involved with. And that was like reading about that project is what drew me to working here specifically, because I thought this is amazing. I want to contribute towards this, you know, be part of this project as well.
So we worked all around the country on this project. We had teams based up in Yorkshire, in Lincolnshire, in Merseyside, in Peterborough, and right the way across London as well. And we invited all of the young people from those schools and those neighbourhoods to get involved. And in the end of that project, we had achieved 3,300 poems which were submitted to us. And not only from across this country, but from across Europe. And we had poems coming from Africa as well. So that was incredibly exciting to know that suddenly there was an appeal that we could go beyond our immediate environment, but to inspire contributions from young people from across the country and beyond. And we created an amazing poetry anthology, and our great vision for that project was to celebrate our 25th anniversary. We were going to do 25 hours continuous spoken word poetry marathon on the West End stage. And our great friends at the Criterion Theatre offered us the space for 2 whole days.
So my name is Lisa Hyland. I'm head of school at Brecknock Primary School, and we've been working with Eastside for about 3 years now. So what was really important about I Know, I Wish, I Will was the fact that it was about speaking your truth. And I think it was poet Jess had a big impact when the kids heard her speak and how she spoke from, you know, her heart and with such passion. I think that really, really inspired them. It was really exciting. I liked the fact that they were particularly interested in schools that had a high demographic of children with free school meals, and also had SEND needs, because that's our school totally. And I liked the idea. We're very much promoting oracy in our curriculum in every subject that we teach. So the idea that these programs were really focused on that and got children to be able to express themselves in that way was really, really important. And especially given COVID and the amount of speech and language that young children have coming in, but even the older children, we found just find it really difficult to express themselves and to kind of, you know, speak up for their truths, you know. So I kind of felt that this was a really good opportunity for our pupils.
We were due to deliver that on the World Poetry Day of 2020, which of course is March 21st, 2020. And we all know what happened 5 days before. The Prime Minister of the time had to shut all theatres because the pandemic had arrived. So you talk about things that go right and things that go wrong.
having the I Know I Wish I Will program transition so quickly to be online really taught me the value of the internet and also the power of the people, essentially, that we were still able to all come together, share our experiences, be almost at a vulnerable state. I would say even more online, I think, in comparison to in person, and still being able to share our stories irrespective of the circumstances that we faced during that particular period. And it was really inspiring to see the confidence of these young people to be in front of a camera that they might have not even encountered ever before, and to still, tell their truth, tell their stories, and what they're inspired by, and to have that kind of open to the internet for anyone to see.
Eastside learning to pivot and having the confidence to pivot in difficult times, in challenging times, it does help that an organisation has had enough experience to understand how it manages the projects that it actually has and how it can rise to certain challenges. I think COVID was a curveball for absolutely everyone. But what Eastside did really well was to know that whatever it did, it had to do something. What really matters actually about doing that is being able to continue to try to make it as interesting and as vibrant as possible, not just settle with the fact that that's what you're achieving, that somehow you've still got to raise the bar with that particular offer. And I think Eastside, mustered themselves, gathered all their resource and threw all their imagination at it.
Hi, I'm Renee Harlow. I'm 13 years old and I go to Compton School. Well, I think just the idea of having an opportunity where I could perform this work as for first, like having the competition where I knew I could go there and I could perform what I'd written. And then we looked at lots of techniques. We did group activities. It helped me feel really opinionated. We did lots of activities where we had to state how we felt clearly about something and argue our point. And then being able to incorporate that into like spoken word was just really useful. The theme was like speaking your truth. And I kind of just like related that to identity. I thought that was a word that really like fitted it in, and then that's when the poem came from. I was a bit shocked because there was a lot of stuff that I was really proud of, and like, they got clicks, but like there was other bits that I didn't even think about when I was writing it, and then they got really big clicks, and I was like, oh, that's nice then. And yeah, I was really nice to see how people reacted to different bits, especially with clicks, because it made me realise, right, this was really strong and I can use this again, and like this kind of thing. God, I don't know. I think the one that I always get a reaction for, I didn't think about though, was like, wait, let me just get it. It's like, I think it's when I started the whole verse about race, and it was, I'm mixed race, biracial, dual heritage, whatever, but I haven't been called white. No, I have never. I'm in the uncomfortable category. I'm not black enough to be black, but not white enough to be white. But just because half of me is light, that doesn't make racism all right. I think that's kind of like a peak moment in the poem. And like, that's where I got a lot of clicks, just because of like the pace. It really increases and then it like stops for a minute,
It does take a community to deliver the work and to make it effective. So we really need to have dialogue with all of those partners and to communicate where we think we're coming from and to understand where they're coming from and to find that shared consensus and that approach to move forward. So I think that we couldn't do the amount of work that we do without partnership. And just to make this conversation happen, there's so many people behind the camera looking at this now who are taking care of the sound, the lighting, the cameras, and so forth. And then we'll edit. So that's a partnership in its own right. So it may seem like it's just you and I having a chat, but it's a full room, isn't it?